Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the viewers. Today we have a very interesting topic, which is stress, kill it or it'll kill you. I am Major General D.K. Mehta. I was commissioned in 1972 in the regiment to the Rajputana Rifles. I've had 7 tenures in J&K along the line of control, the international border, and also in the counterinsurgency area. I commanded a brigade of the Strike Corps during Prakram, and I commanded a mountain division in the east. And as far as staff postings and staff appointments are concerned, I have had staff tenures at all levels. That is the battalion, the brigade, the division, the corps, command, and also the army headquarters. I retired after 37 years of service as the Chief of Staff of the Desert Corps. And to add one more thing, I'm the 3rd generation in the Army. I had the distinction of raising the first information warfare cell for the Indian Army. Today, we have a very seasoned and a renowned speaker, Mr. C. Pal Singh. Mr. C. Pal Singh is the president of NISSMAT, that is National Institute of Safety, Security, Management, and Applied Technology. He joined the police force in 1962. He's an alumni of the prestigious National Police Academy of Hyderabad. We did the advanced course. He has the distinction of raising the Rapid Action Force, which was meant for anti-communal riots, and he was the chief of the thing. For his distinguished service, he's got a number of awards. He got the President Police Medal for Distinguished Service, India Police Medal for Meritorious Service, Police Special Duty of Medal, and Sena Medal that is given to the Army. After retirement, he was the Security Personality of the Year and presented by the President of India for the Global Security Conference. Mr. C. Pal Singh, may I request you to speak on this important subject of stress. Stress is one which is, I think, common to all, be it the students in the corporate world, in the armed forces, like the police and the armed forces. It is universal. How can we what are the reasons for the stress which manifests in the present day environment, sir?
Thank you very much, General Deepak, for the very fine introduction. I'll straightway start with the subject. Today's subject, as you indicated, is stress. Kill it before it kills you. Very interesting subject indeed. Now, the stress management as such, first of all, we must understand what is stress management. Because if stress kills it before it kills you, then you must manage the stress. Now, meaning of stress management is there. But the question is, the meaning of stress is all about making some changes in your managing, how to manage stress. Managing stress is all about making some changes in your thought process, in your emotions, in the schedule of your working, in your environment, so that you do not get stressed. It also involves how to deal with problems. This is how to deal with problems is one of the way how to deal with a problem. I'll come to that. That is the management. The management also involves the ultimate aim of the management is to take charge of your thoughts, to take charge of your emotions, to take charge of your environment so that you are not killed by the stress. However, I must mention that there's not only one size fit. You just give this and the size is fit and you will manage your stress. There's no one size fit solution to stress management. It is important to experiment and find out what works best for you. Something may best work for somebody, something may best work for other. So you have to see what works best for you. Taking charge of your thoughts is well said than actually realized. Taking charge of your emotions, taking charge of your scheduled work, taking charge of your environments. Not only it is said to be ways of managing, but it is a very difficult ways of managing. One can say like that it should done, but it is very, very difficult. However, the with the
Uh,
passage of time, sir, you will realize that with the passage of time, you are able to yourself come to one way or two ways whereby you feel, okay, all right, this is the way I can manage my stress. You look closely at yourself, attribute, what attitude you have, then try to identify and then try to ascertain what is really stressing you. I mean, if you see your stress and then you try to see how to manage it. That is what I'm saying, that stress as such, the techniques are various, but there's no one size fits solution. It has to be managed by you, and you have to go here and there, and after that you evolve at something where you think these things I can manage the stress.
so, now it is manifestation all over. The students are in the stress for the exams. After the exams, they're looking for a job. That's again a stress. And in the corporate world, the pressure of work is so heavy. They're running to meet the deadlines. So I think there's one of the reasons, as in the senior, in the management level, or even in the armed forces, in the police, we have to have a very harmonious sort of environment.
You
It
see,
seems,
Jana, I mean, we are talking about the army or the armed forces or police. This is one aspect of your life. That is where you are serving, you are right. But in general, stress is everywhere. Not only in these armed forces, and stress is everywhere, and the management has to be decided by yourself. I'll tell you one by one. Supposing you want to identify that what is your level of stress. So normally it is said that there are three or four, you can say four A's, A, B, C, the four A's. One is, first is avoid people who stress you. Avoid, you avoid people who stress you. Try to cross out the people or cross out even the topics which stress you in daily life. Of course, you should communicate. I'm not saying that you don't communicate with people. I'm also not saying that you don't talk to people, but try to have a position where you are able to avoid those people and avoid the topics which stress you. This is the first A. The second A is alter the situation. That is, if you are in a situation, you want to, you're being stressed in a situation, you try to alter the situation. That is changing the way you communicate. You alter the situation, you are talking something, you get into laughter or something, you try to change the way of communication. You daily operate in your life, and at times you are able to alter your situation. When you're dealing with somebody in your relative and you feel that you are getting stressed, you always change and alter the situation so that the stress level is, of course, you should communicate. I am again saying there's no question of not communicating. But after you have realized that you are in a stressful situation, first I told you that try to avoid the situation. And second is to adapt to a stressful situation. Avoiding if it's not possible. Let us say you're not able to avoid a relative. Let us say you're not able to avoid a friend. Then avoid that particular stressful situation is not possible. Then adoption is possible. You are not avoiding, then adopt. The second A is adopt. First is avoid. The second is adapt. Now, adapt to stressful situation. It again is regain control of yourself. by changing your own expectation. You expect something, somebody. You expect something, somebody. You try to change that expectation. You try to adapt. 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 You try to adapt and you feel that expectations are not to your extent. So you try to adapt yourself. All right, if I am not able to get the full meal, let me take half it. So adapt yourself to the stressful situation and try to practice a gratitude sort of thing to the things which you are getting. So therefore, this will revive your stress. The third, another very, very interesting way of this avoiding stress is that somehow or other, some people, they want that accept the situation. The third is accept. First is avoid. Second is alter. Third is adopt. And ultimately, they said accept. If you are not
Well,
able to
would it be prudent to say, firstly, what you mentioned very correctly, self-assessment.
yeah,
What the point? Secondly, the other aspiration levels are very high of the people, young people in particular. There
correct.
has to be a mix between the aspiration of your what you aspire to be and the ground realities. I think that's one of the reasons. That could be one of the reasons for mitigation of stress. Sir.
So we always adopt in the family circumstances. When you are in stress, so you adopt also. You cannot avoid the family member. You adopt yourself to particular situation. And then I said, if you are not able to adopt also and not able to alter, then accept the situation. Accept it. So that you are accepting these things. At least you have accepted, but at least your stress level is reduced. This to express and share your feelings with people, on the other hand. There are four ways I've talked separately, but other ways that you try to share your feeling. You try to share and express your feeling with other people whom you like, and do a lot of things that this is a situation, how do I do? Not that they are going to give you some advice which you will fit everywhere, but at least it will reduce your stress level. Sharing a stress is a great catharsis.
Social interaction with the
That's
others. Yes.
great catharsis, sir. Catharsis is a word which is used in literature. When Shakespeare started writing plays, the people sometimes they were very, very tragic or semi-tragic situation. People start crying. People say, "What's that?" After crying, you feel pleasure. This is called. They said after crying, your emotions are discharged totally. You have cried, your emotions are out. With the result that you get elevated. All tragedies, all tragedies in life have got a level of emotional discharge. That is what is called in literature catharsis. That is wherever you feel. Why do you like a tragedy? You go to see a tragedy picture, but you like it because that particular thing, when you are seeing a tragedy, you are you're trying to give egress to your own stress situation. You are letting the session, so your stress out. So that letting the stress out by crying or by dropping a few tears from your eyes, if not totally crying, it gives you that thing which is used the word catharsis in English literature. That is very important point. Catharsis is a purgation. Purgation. You understand purgation. You know, just like you have got a very, very tight stomach, and if you want to have a purgative. So the catharsis is a purgation. That is how you have a purgation and you will feel your tummy is all right. So the purgation is the catharsis. And that purgation of stress is possible only if you are able to have that, you align yourself almost. So you see a tragedy and you see somebody is killed and you feel it is almost you reflect that, oh, somebody was killed in our family like that, you start crying. With the result that after that crying, there is a state of elevation. I mean, your stress level has gone and you feel absolutely at equilibrium. So therefore, they say catharsis is the best management as far as the stress is there. You are not able to adopt, you are not able to alter, you are not able to adjust, stress continues. That have a catharsis, have an emotional outburst, and with the result that you reach out and connect with other people who like you. And you may be able to help someone also. You may be able to help someone. This also is a sort of catharsis. You may like to have a sort of gupshup sitting with somebody after that catharsis. You like to have some fun and relaxation from time to time. They all
Yes.
reduce your stress levels, sir. Before the stress kills you, you have killed the stress. So that is why I said it is not that easy, but it is also possible. This is not,
It is in the state of mind, sir. I agree with you.
it is
And
safe.
find that some more aspects which come into my mind for mitigation of stress is relaxation, you just mentioned. Meditation is one. It helps. By getting into a hobby, some hobby which breaks your daily routine and monotony. I think those factors also could help in reducing the stress, sir.
Absolutely. Recently, some studies have been conducted on reducing the stress level with meditation. And now they have given a positive result. If you go there, they have conducted a full-fledged experiment on this for days and months together in a hospital. When a person is meditation, they put some sort of instrument on his head. And after that, they've come to know that he is reducing the stress level. His meditation gives him peace, which means what word you are saying. That's right. And meditation has given you peace. Why? Because you are able to divert your attention somewhere, your mental attention from stress to meditation, to
Correct.
God, to Almighty, whatever is, whether there is a God or not, that is nonsense. The experiments conducted indicate that there are a lot of cases where they put some instrument on their head, and after that 15 minutes, 20 minutes meditation, they have found during that stage that the vibration which is going through the head, they are bringing that peace to you. They are bringing that sort of attitude of less stress. You see, there is a saying in the poem that is on the solitude. Solitude. Now, people in solitude, you feel very bad. But the sages have seen, the hermits have seen bliss in solitude. You see, where some people said, and they went there, where is that bliss? The sages have seen in thy face, O solitude. Somebody went and questioned the solitude. O solitude, where is that bliss which the sages have seen in thy face? So he tells the solitude, tells, here is the place. You come, be with me, sit down in solitude. See the chirping of the bird. See the flowers. That will give you some solitude, and in that solitude, you'll be able to have that less stressful situation.
Absolutely, sir.
You have to kill this stress by various means. I'll tell you some interesting things which I have studied in my life and also have experienced in some cases. Then there is a sort of mental suffering can't be deeper and more difficult to heal than physical pain. This is another very interesting subject on which somebody has written. The mental suffering, of course, they are there, but they cannot be as deeper or they cannot be as difficult for you to manage as sometimes the physical pain. Even King earlier used to have relief from emotions by calling gestures and crown in their coats. So therefore, to get out of stress, there are various very, very important sayings which have been said. For example, in the case of Macbeth, or in the case of King Lear, the plays which have been given by Shakespeare, King Lear finds that there is an emotional upheaval in his mind, the total emotional upheaval because his daughters have turned him out of the house in King Lear. He goes out. When he goes out, there is a storm, heavy storm, hailstorm, which means the inner reflection, the reflection of his being in storm is being reflected by the poet, by Shakespeare, by outer storm, which means you are able to outward, the inner emotions have been turned into outer emotions, and the entire atmosphere is full of storm. The storm which King Lear had inside is visible outside. What I am trying to say, in times of stress, we have some time, we hate what stress, what will happen at all. But that is there that you have to think in a modern meaning, there's a prolonged anxiety or prolonged fear can turn into resentment sometimes. You become resentful because wrong fear. Every time you are fearful, or every time you are resentful, every time you feel there's a stress, that makes you something like a tower of misery. You should not, or even you are yourself starting that I am not able to recognize myself. I'm not able to break the cycle of stress. My submission is, in this point of time, that before stress kills you, you can kill the stress. The hobbies are there. Lot of hobbies. People go for morning walk. People go for evening walk. People indulge in some hobbies. So there are various means by which
Yes.
you can reduce the level of stress. And therefore, I feel before the stress kills, it's important for all of us to think that we kill the stress. The ways are very things. You go for morning walk, you go gup shop, you sit down with people, you study, you go for sort of laughing, or you go to see a tragedy, more
The
stressful tragedy.
diversion of the mind, sir. Yes.
So you're more
I agree
stressful.
with
So therefore, I am of the view that stress does kill you before you kill the stress, and therefore avoid building up stress in themselves. Adapt to stressful situation. If not immediately, gradually you will get adapted to it, and you will regain your control by changing your own expectation. Because your expectations are causing you stress. You change your expectation, your level of stress will get reduced. So this is my how I feel about stress. You have any other questions? Please come on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, sir. I mean, I have learned a lot. I can only talk for the armed forces since I've served for 37 years in there. You see, in high intensity areas, sir, the stress is caused to the officers and the men both is the uncertainty of health and injury. Second aspect, which again manifests there amongst the ranks, is you see all these people in the high intensity areas. They have left their families behind, their wives and the children behind in something. Earlier, it was by writing letters. You take anything 2 months to get a reply back. But now with the mobile phones, the problems get exacerbated, and that causes a lot of stress. So I
Right.
think at senior managerial level in the civil street and the armed forces, one has to keep a very close watch on the aspect, what are they, how is the stress being exhibited by the men, and find ways to stop it. So I thank you very much for this talk on stress. It's a very important subject, the present environment. I said, right from the students, right to the type. It could be student, it could be while in service, it could be aspirations, it's financial, any amount of thing you talk of gives stress. Thank you very much for the talk, sir. Very kind of you.
Thank you very much for calling me here. Thank you, Jandeep. Thank you.
Thank you.